Hello, Pewter people. Scott Reynolds here with another Pewter Pulse. It's January 2025, and the Bucs 2024 regular season is about to conclude, hopefully in a couple of weeks. And we're just a few months away from the start of free agency, if you can believe that. Tampa Bay doesn't have a ridiculously large number of free agents this year to re-sign. Last year was a different story. It was crazy with the pair of Pro Bowlers in Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans, legendary linebacker Levante David, all-pro safety Antoine Winfield Jr., and kicker Chase McLaughlin. All were slated to hit free agency. This year's lone big name is wide receiver Chris Godwin, who's scheduled to be a free agent in March. Will the Bucs re-sign Godwin, or will they let him go due to the emergence of rookie wide receiver Jalen McMillan? I'll get into that in today's Pewter Pulse in just a moment. But first, your reminder, hit the thumbs up button, give us a like, also leave a comment. Love reading the comments. Doing those two things helps us with the YouTube algorithm, gets us in front of more awesome Bucs fans like you, and helps us grow our Pewter Report TV YouTube channel. Now let's talk about Chris Godwin's future in Tampa Bay, or does he even have one? Let's start the Pewter Pulse. It's one thing that Bucs general manager Jason Licht has drafted the best wide receiver in franchise history in Mike Evans. Talk about hitting a home run at your first at bat. Evans, who is a future Hall of Famer, was Jason Light's first ever draft pick back in 2014. Then 3 years later, Light and Tampa Bay select Chris Godwin in the third round of the 2017 NFL Draft. Godwin goes on to become the second best receiver in Bucs history. The fact that Light has drafted the two best wide receivers in this franchise history is an incredible feat. I don't know of another general manager that has done anything like that. Evans and Godwin have formed a powerful 1-2 punch on offense over the years and have ignited Tampa Bay's passing attack. It's no surprise that before Evans and Godwin teamed up, that the Bucs only had two 4,000-yard passers, Josh Freeman in 2012 and Jameis Winston in 2016. But since Godwin arrived in 2017, Tampa Bay has had 6 seasons with the 4,000-yard passer. Winston became the first 5,000-yard passer in team history back in 2019. And Tom Brady hit 4,000 yards twice in 2020 and 2021, and then set the franchise record with 5,316 yards in 2021. A lot of it was due to Chris Godwin. And Baker Mayfield has hit 4,000 passing yards in each of his first 2 seasons in red and pewter. While Evans gets all the attention for 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons and counting, Godwin has 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons of his own from 2021 through 2023 until he suffered a season-ending ankle injury in Week 7 this year. Before that injury, Godwin was the Bucs' leading receiver this year and was on pace to catch, get this, 121 passes for 1,398 yards and 12 touchdowns in Liam Cohen's offense. All would have been career highs for Godwin. And Godwin's career year was happening in a contract year, too. Unfortunately for Godwin, he suffered a season-ending injury in each of his last 2 contract years. In 2021, he suffered a torn ACL and a serious knee injury. Yet the Bucs had confidence in his work ethic and his ability that he would overcome the injury and return to form. And after signing a 3-year deal worth $20 million per season, that's exactly what happened. And Godwin delivered a pair of 1,000-yard seasons in 2022 and 2023 and was on his way to do it again. The Bucs have been rewarded by Godwin's determination and effort in rehab before, and the team is ready to count on that again. Pewter Report has learned that Tampa Bay is expecting to make Godwin an offer and re-sign the talented receiver, even though he turns 29 in March. He's proven that he can overcome injuries in the past, and his dislocated ankle is not as serious as that knee injury was back in 2021. I don't know if the Bucs will re-sign him to a 1-year deal or a multi-year deal, and I don't know the terms. It could be a $20 million per year deal again, or perhaps it's a little bit more due to a rising market for receivers, or perhaps it's a little bit less per year given his age and injury. If I had to guess, I could see the Bucs sign Godwin to a similar 2-year deal that Mike Evans signed this past offseason, worth just over $21 million per season. Godwin has proven to be a tremendous fit in Liam Cohen's offense as the passing game is run through the slot receiver. It's similar to the role that he had in Bruce Arians' offense, which also featured the slot receiver, but just in a more vertical way under Bruce. Cohen's offense has more crossers and intermediate routes that rely on yards after catch, and that's an area that Chris Godwin has excelled in. So, knowing Godwin is attacking his rehab and he's going to be ready for training camp and perhaps OTAs, and how much of a perfect fit that he is for Cohen's offense as a featured receiver, it makes a lot of sense to bring Godwin back in 2025, regardless of what Jalen McMillan is doing opposite Mike Evans right now. Having Mike Evans and improving Jalen McMillan and Chris Godwin back together again next year will give the Bucs a stellar trio at wide receiver, the likes of which haven't been seen in Tampa Bay since Evans and Godwin were winning a Super Bowl next to Antonio Brown back in 2020 and also in the 2021 season. Throw in the fact that Godwin has been an amazing mentor to the team's younger wide receivers, and he's just so invaluable in that area. Evans usually does some training in the offseason back in Galveston, but Godwin is the guy who is always at every OTA, setting the example for others to follow. He was among the first to buy in to Dave Canales' offense in 2023 and among the first to buy into Liam Cohen's scheme in the 2024 offseason. Godwin deserves to come back and finish what he started this season, and I have no doubt that Jason Light and Mike Greenberg will make their best efforts to make that happen. I'm not sure what the contract will look like, and neither does Godwin nor the Bucs brass until negotiations take place in the offseason. But Godwin is not done playing alongside Mike Evans just yet. They still have more damage to do together against opposing secondaries for at least the 2025 season and hopefully beyond. Folks, you made it a memorable 2024 for us. We grew our Pewter Report TV channel on YouTube thanks to you. And we're coming up on 17,000. So if you can help us out in 2025, that'd be great. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And you can check out Pewter Report TV for more Pewter Pulse episodes, the Pewter Report podcast, other great Bucs video content. And you can also follow us on social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report, as well as reading all of our content and our stories at pewterreport.com. We'll have game coverage, hopefully throughout the playoffs, as well as the best offseason coverage that you'll find regarding Bucs free agency and draft coverage. And I'll be back soon with a new Pewter Pulse.